Hey, everybody, welcome back to The Big Thing, Sith Council edition. And we have a really good show for you today. Now, what a day it's been in general today, man. Started off the day with a Black Adam trailer, and then we went right into a spoiler-heavy review of Obi-Wan. Then, at noon, dropped the Jurassic World Dominion review. That was one of a movie. That's something. And now we get a Sith Council with me and Steph Sabraw. Mikey Chicken is doing something, working a double. He's very proud of himself. But by the way, if you're brand new to this show, people are always asking how you can help support Apple Podcast, Spotify. This show and all the other shows that we do here, long form, can be found on the Apple Podcast, Spotify. People want to listen to this show in their car or the gym. Well, this is how you do it. So make sure you do it. And we also have a Sith Council t-shirt up on the store as well. So make sure you get yourself one of those. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification button. Do everything you need to do. Now, this is Sith Council Big Thing. Let's do it. Me and Steph. Here we go.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.
Welcome back, everybody. It is The Big Thing. It is Sith Council. I am joined by the one and the only Steph Darth Sabraw. What up, Steph?
What's up?
Did you get your pretzel bites?
Yes.
Yeah.
I found them.
I was your savior.
Yes. Kristian, you don't know how much peace that brought me.
I'm sure it did. Like I saw, so we're having Roxy on Big Thing tomorrow, so we'll talk to her as well. But like the joy in your eyes, that's why if I ever meet your future husband or fiance, I know what to tell him to get you to make you happy.
Cinnamon sugar bites.
Yeah, that's it. If he's in the doghouse,
yes.
he just needs to
I ran.
Yeah,
I don't run
did.
anymore.
Oh, I know. I saw it. I saw it. It was interesting. My favorite is I know the dynamic so well with you and Dorina and Roxy so well that you guys ran. It reminded me of like kids at an amusement park when you saw something that you needed and you just ran over to the stand. It didn't matter where anybody else was, and Dorina just wanted this. Stayed, and I was like, I started laughing. She's like, "What?" And I go, it's just hilarious how like you can just tell first of all the age range,
yeah,
and also she's just used to the two of you doing your thing.
Yeah, she's like constantly corralling us. Yeah,
and she was, but that's a different movie for a different time. That Jurassic thing.
Oh.
So this is Sith. This is Big Thing, and we're gonna get into the fourth episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It is the show on Disney Plus. Steph, you didn't see my spoiler review yet, I assume.
No, not yet.
Okay, we haven't talked about it. You don't know what I think.
No.
I don't know what you think. What did you think?
I really enjoyed this episode. To me, it wasn't episode 3 is like one of my favorite episodes ever in Star Wars or pieces of footage. This one, it didn't move the plot forward as much for me, but there wasn't a single part I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I didn't love it.
You didn't love it.
There are parts of it that I really liked. I enjoyed watching it. I probably still liked it better than the second one, but there was a lot that I didn't like about it with a lot that I did. The stuff that I liked was the beginning, the back and forth with showing him in the back the tank, and then the just the pain that Anakin's going through inside of those the visions, the angst, like all of it, and then working with what's it? I always forget her name.
Adina
No,
Barna?
not the actress though herself.
Tala.
Tala, that's right. So
love that character.
She's great, and
that's one of my favorite new additions.
She's another person that I like, and I don't mind the trope as much because it's part of Star Wars. There are tropes that I don't like, and then there's this trope of the characters that infiltrate all the time the Empire. Like it's the easiest place in the world to try to get into.
Yeah.
But I liked that. I liked the this was about as New Hope as you get. This whole episode was New Hope, and that stuff, the kind of parallels to it at times I liked a lot. I like the prequel stuff that they did with Obi-Wan swimming underwater with the thing in his mouth. I love the stuff where after Obi-Wan finds Leia and he's got to break out and he's got to tune back into the Force and he's using the saber again. I love the stuff when Vader came in and goes old school and would just choke out some of his people. Like That's all the stuff I really enjoyed a lot. So let me, before I tell you the stuff I didn't, what's the stuff that you really enjoyed?
A lot of what you said.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan just coming back to Obi-Wan, at least making those steps was sick. I thought they are just shooting him so well.
Yeah.
I love the water, the use of the water. It's just, I know we've seen it and I love the callback to it, but we don't get, it's nice to see like a different terrain in Star Wars and them use it differently. I thought that Tala was awesome. I just loved the dialogue between her and when she was like, "Call me sir."
Yep. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Boo. And I loved also Leia kind of reflecting off Rey in that scene with Kylo Ren, but when she's trying to like read her thoughts or get some information.
Now, do you mean the first time they did that scene or the 28th time they did that scene in this episode? That scene, how many times do you have to do that scene?
Yeah, the interrogation went on really long.
Hey, I know you know where it is. No, I don't. Yes, you do. Okay, fine. You're lying. Okay, just kidding. Hey, you know where it is. No, I don't. Yes, you do. Hey, you have a droid? I had a droid too one day. Hey, how many times we can do the scene? And then finally, we're going to torture you. Okay, here we go. Oh, they want to see you in the deck. Now? Okay, I'll leave her alone. Okay. What? There's like, that's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts. And you know how much I love this little girl as Leia. I think she's fantastic, and I think she was fantastic in this episode. They are relying too much on Leia because Leia is like, and you've also heard me say to these people that keep saying, "Hey, you're negating everything that's happening in episode 4, and episode 5, and episode 6, the original trilogy." And I was like, "Take it easy. We're not." This one's hard to argue with those people, and I might be one of them because it's like, why is Leia's getting tortured the same way she does 9 years later? And when you first meet Leia in episode 4, it seems up until that point she was trying to portray that she was an Empire sympathizer because Vader's coming up and he's going, "You're part of the Rebel Alliance and you're a traitor. Take it away." He clearly would know that she was with Obi-Wan and that she was already part, so like it's having her involved as much. Like, I get and I like the idea of what they did. We talked about it. I love the idea of using her in that first, and I was against.
Totally. You loved it.
I loved it. And I was against people saying, "Oh, they shouldn't have used her for the kidnapping thing." I thought that was great, but now they're a second kidnapping thing.
Yeah,
you got to rescue her again, and then and the production quality. There's parts of this show that look like a $200 million movie. There's other times it looks like a CW show. Like when they first arrive on the platform, that CGI, where is it? I have it here somewhere.
Yeah, show me because I'm not as good at picking that stuff out.
Oh my God, it was awful. Where is it? It's here somewhere. So this is one of the 775 times.
It was dark this episode. I had to turn off all the lights.
Yeah. I loved O'Shea Jackson Jr.
He's great.
However, even it's like every single thing that works well, there's something else, right? They go and they find him and they go, "We need you to help." He goes, "I can't help you. Can't do it."
I knew you were going to not like that part.
No, but that's okay that he said no. But then he walks to the side and he's like, "Come on. Well, my wife was a Jedi," and she was like, "Yeah, I'll help you."
Yeah.
Where was the turn? Where was the turn on that? It's just
like,
okay, fine. But I thought he was great. And that was when the turn happens, and then they set up this scene. This is a classic Star Wars scene. I love this when all this goes down.
He could have been on board the entire time.
He might as well have. What's the point of making him, where is it? I love when he's using the Force and trying to tune back in. Like, all that stuff was great. And she's, okay, and here's another one of the interrogation scenes. I mean, I couldn't believe how many times they did that interrogation scene. This thing. Like, when this lands, this is, it just looked, I love the volume, but this was, I mean, look, that looks terrible. That looks like a set. That looks like a bunch of people. You know what that looks like? It looks like the bad version of the Resistance ride that we went on. That looks bad.
I don't know.
You think all right?
I think it looks all right. I don't disagree. I think that moment, the first shot you showed me, I thought that looks a little Clone Wars animation-y.
Yeah.
And computer game or like a video gamey, which I don't love when it looks like that. Sometimes like characters in animation when they're running, it looks like that. But Yeah, that's never really the thing. I'm not good at picking that stuff out. But I agree. Like, some scene, it's hard because it's like, I just saw the first Jurassic Park for the first time.
Yeah.
And one thing we were talking about is how we love how they let the dialogue sit and tell the story.
Yes.
And they do it masterfully. So I appreciate when these action shows try to do more dialogue.
Yeah.
But I agree in the sense that it wasn't pushing anything forward.
There was nothing that we learned.
A little more about Reva.
But even that, it's like, but still,
she had a droid.
but this was my big concern with her, right?
Yeah.
Although the top, it's that and this is why I think it's a disservice to Moses Ingram, and it's putting a lot of pressure on her that you have sold this show before it came out as the rematch of the century between Vader and Obi-Wan. You got it for like 2 seconds in the beginning of this. You got it in episode 3. It was all over the place, and they set it up at the end of episode 2. We're getting into this thing now. Vader's back, and now it's going to be Vader. And he's gone for the majority of this episode, and it's more about stuff we've already really learned about Reva. We know that there's something going on in there, that's something that happened, and now we just learned that she had a droid.
Yeah.
And now we learn that she's, she can't read Leia's thoughts. And then there's that silly scene. Oh, and this is the other stuff that, as much as I love Tala, there's some stuff that happens with her in this episode that they're not even trying. Like, where is it? Let me bring this scene was great when she through words gets herself through.
Because you have to be confident.
Yes,
that makes sense.
I love this scene. She throws it down and she's like you said, call me sir. Gets her way in. That's all she needs to do. Then she's just talking like one of the things. My sister-in-law will plop down on the couch next to me, talking to her husband on speakerphone when I'm trying to watch a show, and I can hear everything they're saying. That was her talking to Obi-Wan next to this guy. He turns over for 1 second. I think that she might be a spy. All right, let me get back to checking my emails. That's like that was a minor thing. Can get past it. This part I loved. This was great.
Yeah, it's sick.
Loved when he's coming through the hatch and he gets himself in there and this was where it gets episode 4 New Hope style, and it was shades of Obi-Wan. Now we get to the 757th time with the interrogation. I was getting so bored with this, and the droid. This is the droid stuff. But where is it? This scene. This was ridiculous. Who are you? What's your credentials?
Oh, when she walks in.
But no, she beats the crap out of the guy, right?
Yeah.
And no one notices. And then what happens? Then he's sleeping by a crate, like in the wide open. No one finds the guy. He's just passed out, hungover. That's what they probably think, and they're not even trying. And another interrogation scene until finally they take her away. And then the worst scene though with Tala was not that one. This scene was great. We'll talk about that in a second. But where is it? I got to find it. No, it's the scene that drove me nuts. Oh yeah, it was. Well, she's talking. So Reva's talking to Tala now, and there's this scene where she again starts to use the power words to say, "No, I am a spy, and I'm using it to do this and then that." Everything she's doing, great. But then the droid finds Obi-Wan. Alarm goes off. Everything that they have set up with Reva so far indicates that she would just cut this woman's head right off for lying.
Yeah.
Now, let the stormtroopers do it.
Yeah, that one, I definitely picked up on that.
Lets the stormtroopers do it, and then you get the stupidest scene in all 4 episodes of this show. What is it? I'll show you. Right where is it? It's right here. It's right around this time. Hold on. The droid finds him, and then she just slaps this stormtrooper on the side of the head. Get out of here, you! And then the other one just looking like an imbecile. And then she turns around and shoots him in the stomach. This scene of how she takes care of these 2 stormtroopers is so dumb, and how Reva just lets her go. This is why Vader should have killed her, not because of anything else. Whether she's tracking or not, you had a chance to take out this one. You knew
a spy.
You knew that she deceived you because we just found that out, and you let Earl and Mortimer take her down the hallway, and she slaps him on the side of the head. Look at she open hand slaps the guy on the head and takes him out. It was like you might as well go, and even though that was silly, I don't know if it was sillier than this. The silliest moment in the entire show. Where is it? I got to find it. You got
Oh, when they walk past them.
This. Look at the coat that Obi-Wan has on with the girl sticking out like he's been eating donuts for like 15 days straight and his hips blew out on him. Like this. I mean, come on, Steph. You know how much I love these shows, but I mean, we gotta come on. That's bad.
Yeah. Okay. One of my prolific issues in Star Wars is how they consistently in every show, everything. One of the major tropes is how they escape out of any side of the dark side's weapons or ships, whatever it is. It doesn't really make sense.
At this point, you might as well just put her on your shoulders and put the coat over her head and pretend you're just a really tall 10-year-old. Because look how ridiculous that is.
Yeah, they just the whole. I don't know why. I feel like I'm just choosing to view it with a less critical eye because the show just. I just really, really am trying to focus on the things that I love.
That's fair.
I agree that in the sense that I did, even while I enjoyed the entire episode, I thought a few times this escape, the second one was unnecessary, but should we do it? It could have been a quarter of the episode, but it was the entire episode.
The whole entire episode.
And the only other thing that we expanded on was a rebel base. Really.
Yeah, I think but I think that what they were doing clearly, and it worked, it's been 45 years since the release of Episode 4, A New Hope. So this was an homage, clearly, to that film. Because you have one of the main characters, even when Obi-Wan does that thing to the stormtroopers, when he pushes them to the side and they hear their thing, what was that? Over there. I loved that stuff. I loved the stuff with the 4. I love that. I love the stuff that came in with Vader and all that. But even the fact that Reva does what Vader does. Remember, they let the Falcon go, and Vader's like, we put a chip on there. We're tracking them. And Tarkin's like, I hope you're right. And that's what essentially happens in this episode with Reva. I loved all that stuff. I thought that stuff was great. It's just these little things that, and they just didn't need to be there for this episode.
Yeah.
Here's just this traumatic thing that happens to Obi-Wan where he finds out that his apprentice, his good friend, is back and is alive and coming for him and almost killed him. That's your show for the rest of the series, and it's not going to be. It's going to be now. We're going to find more so of what plagues Reva and why Reva is the way she is, and then do you think I'm wrong now about this turn?
No, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. So you gotta brace yourself.
I do I just this is not a fair complaint because I feel like Star Wars is not really about dialogue, even though they tried to make it. But I would have loved if we just got that conversation with Tala and Obi-Wan to be longer.
Yes.
About healing also on the inside as opposed to just his burns.
But wait. See, having them talk more is not a thing that is not a Star Wars thing. This show was a half an hour last night. It was a 30-minute show. You could have added that and made it 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like you're 100% right.
Well, I just am longing for a deep conversation with
Build
Obi-Wan
the characters
about
out.
his actual emotions about this more than just his the shots.
That's what I'm saying. Build the characters out. That's why you have a show in the first place.
Yeah.
That's why The Mandalorian is so good.
Yeah.
Because you've built out on Din so much. You learn things about him all the damn time. You learn things about the culture, everything that he is, and you're not doing that enough. And even with Reva, who, they're building this whole, she's the one that's being built out the most.
She's saying the same thing multiple times.
She's saying the same thing now. Now there's nothing built on the fact that she is, what is it? We just finished episode 4. We got 2 left.
Yeah.
And we haven't figured out any of the reasons that, because you're gonna have to build out, why did they open with that Jedi temple scene? Clearly she was in that scene, but why did you open with that? I'm starting to say more and more, it might be doubtful that we might not get a flashback scene with Anakin.
If we don't get Hayden Christiansen's face.
We might not. They have stunt doubles that are doing the Vader stuff. I think they're just using them for the tank and other stuff.
You guys.
They might not. I mean, I hope that they do, maybe even for the last one. But this to me, even though, like I said, I didn't hate the episode, and I thought, and there was a lot that I liked about it. I think they could have went in a different direction after what they did with 3. That I just the kidnapping again, and we did that in episode 2. They're repeating a lot of the same beats, and they repeated a lot of the same beats in the same episode with that interrogation scene.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Every time they cut back to it, I'm like, we're doing this again? Although I did love the scene when, finally, because they needed to get Reva out of the room so Obi-Wan could get in there. That's the only reason they did that silly scene. You could see where they're like, well, Reva can't be there because we don't want her to battle Obi-Wan yet. How do we get her out? Well, why don't we have Talia need to summon her and try to talk her way out of it? It's kind of, I don't know. It's like the execution on some of the beats it's been a bit of a bummer. I still like it more than Boba Fett, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I agree. Like, there's certain things that I agree. Like, I don't mind the decision if it was executed differently.
Yeah,
because if you had Tala, like, take a gun or, like, something and then, like, be ready to square off, and Reva's like, screw it, I'm going to Obi-Wan first. Right,
and there's, like, a battle that ensues in the thing, and she's got to, like, blast her way out, or she goes around the side, like whatever it might be. It's just like that. It's like, we need to get her out, so she just, like, hand slaps a stormtrooper and gets away. It's like, I'm with you. Like, you could have done, it's the execution of it. We need Obi-Wan and Tala and Leia to get out. How do we get them out? Well, why don't we put Obi-Wan in a big trench coat and have Leia sticking out the side of it? It's like
Little Rascals.
Who gets that conversation greenlit? Like, that looks so goofy when he's walking. Who doesn't recognize that? Like, it's like it was so silly, but then it's like they complement each other with there's a bad move that's made, and then a really awesome image. Like, look how great this looks.
Oh yeah.
And he's firing down the hallway, and he's not even a step in, and he's choking her across the room.
Okay, but also this is the fastest I've ever seen Vader move.
Yeah.
When he did that, like, 1-2 step up to her, I was like,
he's moving.
That was moving.
Like that's a great shot.
Yeah, it's sick.
That's a great shot. Like, I love that shot. I love that shot so much, Steph. It's probably going to be the thumbnail of this video.
Yeah, it's sick.
Like,
it's really.
I love
perfect.
that shot. Like, that kind of stuff. And he's just like, I told you. You had your shot, but now you're dead. And he's like, She's like, I tracked it. And she's starting to make her move. But what is her move ultimately? That's where you find out. And like, and this. But here's another, to go off your point. So you've got Wade and Sully who come in, and Wade eats it. And then they're all depressed. I didn't give a crap about Wade because I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know anything about him. I wanted to. Seemed like a nice guy, but I knew nothing about him.
Yeah. They also gave Maya Erskine's character nothing. She's from Pen 15.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Right. And
yeah, she said like two things.
She had, and had I not known that from you, I would have just thought this was the first thing she was ever in.
No, I know. She's awesome.
Yeah, and maybe she goes on to do more coming up, but like
now that she's a part, now that they've recognized that they are soldiers,
build their characters a little bit. Show me a little bit inside of that meaning. Like, let me like them a little bit. So that way, when Wade eats it, I'm going, oh no, Wade.
Yeah.
But Wade is not like. Well, only thing in my head, I'm going, was that somebody I was supposed to know?
I know. And then I looked it up. Like, he might have been a Fallen Order reference because I think there was like a few throughout this episode. I
there were.
Played the game,
were a few.
But there was definitely
were.
ones I saw.
I don't know if he was. I don't know. Maybe you're right. But I think there was a lot of different things in Fallen Order. So one of the things I had read was Obi-Wan's visit for the Inquisitors demands a crowd of your standard stormtroopers and Imperial officers, but several unique variations hide among, this is a screen rant, by the way, among the white and gray throng. In the hangar area, Tila walks past an Imperial starfighter pilot known for flying TIE fighters in the Star Wars original trilogy. Obi-Wan later faces a stormtrooper squadron whose commander wears black armor with a red shoulder plate. Though the helmet design is slightly altered, these are purge troopers serving directly under the Inquisitors. Purge troopers previously starred in Marvel's Darth Vader comics and Jedi Fallen Order. So there was that. There's also the Dead Jedi and Obi-Wan Kenobi 4, reminiscent of Star Wars Rebels Season 1, Rise of the Old Masters. Ezra Bridger and Kanan Jarrus infiltrated the Spire to rescue Luminara Unduli, but only found her remains, finally realizing their mission was a trap all along. Obi-Wan Kenobi's Easter egg implies that Luminara's body might have been moved from the Fortress Inquisitors to the Spire for the very purpose of catching Jarrus and Bridger. So I guess that's beforehand. So that's interesting. So there's a few. Where is it? Let me bring up that. That was one of my scenes that I think I liked the most in this one, was where he's looking at the all the fallen Jedi that were in there, and then
Oh, yeah.
when he sees that little youngling, that was pretty tough.
That was tough.
That was tough. So like that scene was great. That scene, again, there was so many. That's why I can't. Like, if someone says, "Did you like the episode?" I say, "Yeah, I did," because there's a lot of stuff inside of this episode that was really good. Like all this stuff when he does find Leia, whether you like the fact that he's there again, the stuff. This was great when he's cutting down the stormtroopers in that room. But this stuff was tough. The little youngling is there, and then I don't know who this lady was.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were references, like him. I think he's from the Clone Wars. Yeah, he showed up in the Clone Wars like once. I think he was like a detective, force sensitive detective, something like that.
Yeah, but I mean that kind of stuff I liked a lot. But
yeah, and just looked cool. Yeah. Also, cannot not talk about when Leia held Ben's hand. It was the cutest freaking thing.
Let's hold on that. We'll talk about it in a second, because I also want to tell you guys, as I've been telling you about, Storyblocks, and a lot of people have been trying them, and people ask how you can support the show. Well, you support the show by checking out our great sponsors, and Storyblocks is one of those great sponsors. And Storyblocks is the most effective way to capture an audience attention. Video is the most effective way to capture an audience attention as well. As a result, modern storytellers are challenged with creating more video content at a higher quality, involving more voices in the process, and distributing on more platforms than ever before. So some of the barriers that creators face, whether it's meeting output demands, time, budget, knowledge, creative inspiration, passion, burnout, mental health, it can all happen. Storyblocks makes it possible for creators to keep up the growing demands for modern video content, so you can bring all your stories to life and stop sacrificing your vision due to time, budget, or resources. It exists just to help you bring all your stories to life without sacrificing your vision due to time, budget, or the resources. Every creator should have Storyblocks membership. You choose a plan that works for you from their selection of flexible subscriptions that scale to give you all the content and tools you need to focus on creating and not worrying about budget. If you're a member of a larger creative team, whether it's a marketing agency or a media organization or their enterprise license, it's got your back with comprehensive coverage for your entire company that enables you to distribute wherever, whenever. I am a big fan of Storyblocks. And I was talking to Thad Williams about this yesterday. He's been using it for a while too, and I think that you guys should check it out. It's storyblocks.com/big-thing. You got to check out Storyblocks and sign up for their unlimited all-access plan. Once again, storyblocks.com/big-thing. And as I mentioned to you guys earlier, if you want to know how to help the show and help yourselves, try out one of these sponsors, and especially Storyblocks. And if you're making video content, give it a shot. I'm thinking of the Galaxy Geeks. Galaxy Geeks are making good stuff and good content over there. Let me know if you've checked out Storyblocks. I want to know. I want to know.
I want to know.
What you're grooving.
Can you show me? We could make a remix.
Hell yeah, we're pretty good at that. Tell you what. All right, let's talk about that Leia thing, because that's how they ended it, right? They ended it.
That was so like why I love Star Wars. That moment.
That's a great moment, but even with that moment, but even with that moment, it's like where is it? It's hold on, it's towards the end here.
It is true though, Kristian. You do a great job of you point out valid criticisms. You're not like F this.
No, I like I said, I didn't regret. I waited up until midnight last night and I watched it, right? Yeah. And I enjoyed it. But there's a lot of stuff I was like, I don't know that. Like this scene that we're talking about here, because this scene with Leia was great. They're holding hands. It was really nice. And they have a pretty strong relationship, and it'll make episode 4 when you watch it a little. I mean, even more so, like when they say Ben Kenobi's here and where, because they clearly know each other and they're excited. I think that she probably would have addressed them a little differently in that recording, instead of saying Obi-Wan, years ago you served my father. Like, hey, remember the time you rescued me twice, buddy? I need help again. Where are you, Ben? It's me when I was
back at it again.
Right.
Taken.
I was a little kid back in the day, but whatever. And that type of stuff I can get over. But this, she's sitting there, and then there's this pan of, it's the droid. That's the. We already know that there's a tracking thing.
Yeah.
It just happens because it's in the droid. Who cares where it is? We know it.
Well, right. And we knew it when Reva said it will follow wherever.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Yeah. So it's like they already set that up, but it was the last scene of it. That one's a minor gripe. that's a minor gripe. Like if it was like, if someone's like, get over that, come on. But I can't get over the biggest ones are the stuff in Leia in the trench coat was the stupidest thing. The open palm slap to the stormtroopers. Yeah, it's like those. I hope that type of stuff goes away, and I just feel like we're just not going to focus on Vader and Obi-Wan. And I like the idea that there's been 10 years and like this traumatic thing that happened. And the whole point of what I thought this series was going to be with the Obi-Wan once thought as you did, I got to get my buddy back. I got to find a way to get him back. It seems it's going to be like, okay, so yeah, well, Reva was in the temple and this is what happened to her. And this is it. And she wants to make sure that she's friends, and then Leia's going to do this, and then Obi-Wan's going to wind up having this thing. Oh, yeah, and then Vader's going to come in at the end of episode 5, and then they're going to have a clash at 6, and then Vader's going to kill Reva. And it's like, yeah.
I think that, okay, I don't know. I think that we could get a lot more in 5 and 6. I'm holding on to that because I agree. That's like when we've said what we wanted in the show. That was my number. As millions of other people. That's what I want.
That's the way they're marketing it.
Yeah.
Like remember all that stuff. The stuff that if this is what could happen here, the rematch of the century, and building it like that's what the series is about. Like it's like, well, your expectations are going to be the detriment of what you think. No, when someone goes up on stage and says the rematch of the century is going to take place, and it's insinuating that's what the show is about.
That's the show's about, yeah.
And that is not what the show has been about so far. It's in there. It's not ignored. It's not like, oh, it's nowhere to be found, because they open up the show with it. And they open up the show with him in the back of the tank, cutting with Vader. I'm like, oh, they're going to go into this of like what Vader's going through right now and what Obi-Wan's going to do. Sign me up. And then it's gone.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And it's like, okay, so maybe that's what 5 is about.
Yes.
If 5 is 30 minutes again and 6 is like 45, it's like,
it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I really hope they're long episodes. And it's just like, how can you not have Obi-Wan questioning his place and his decisions in regards to Anakin and Darth Vader,
right.
Like talking about the Council, the Clone Wars,
none of that. There's no conversation
master apprentice
about it.
Relationship. Like you just have to have that.
I want to have more conversation. I want to hear him talk about more about the lore, about what happened. Like, because in that
where
trailer,
they went wrong.
Yes, because in that trailer, what was everyone talking about when he was talking about it's been 10 years we lost? It's like, oh, they're talking about what
the
went
wars,
down.
Yeah,
they haven't talked about any of it.
Yeah, they haven't talked about
any
wars.
of it. And it's like, so it's. I'm hoping with 5 and 6 something happens. You know, Qui-Gon's probably just going to show up at the end, and go, huh?
I think he's going to show up at the end of next episode.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think what's going to happen is something again where. Because I don't know if Obi-Wan's hit his lowest point.
I don't know. He just got thrown into the fire.
Yeah, that was low.
He's
but
gonna
like,
come back.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I was to rank right now, I'm not ranking animated, just ranking live action.
Okay.
Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 1. Obi-Wan, Boba Fett.
Boba. I would put Obi-Wan above season 1 of Mandalorian.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But season 2 is the best.
Yeah.
Season 2 is. I can't wait to rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch season 1.
We should do that together. Don't do that on your TikTok stuff is going great, by the way. I'm loving that series. It's really fun to watch those movies with you. So, how great was Dirty Dancing?
So good.
Told you.
I did
really
not
good.
think it was gonna be good. It was great.
It's really good. And what I realized, there are a lot of movies that I have told you, and I've said I told you. I've never talked to you about Dirty Dancing, so I don't know why I said told you.
Oh,
but
I thought you might have. You usually tell me about all the 80s ones. I wish I would have done the series when I watched Heat for the first time.
Yeah.
The TV.
Heat. It's like, and then did you see that stupid movie Ambulance?
No.
Oof.
I don't watch those types. Yeah.
Brutal.
Jake Gyllenhaal just like.
Not his fault though.
He's a great actor. He just like I respect the hustle, but he'll take any role. I feel like he takes a lot.
Amy wanted to work with it, and this is a different conversation for a different show. But like that movie, it's not the plot or the acting. It really is just about how bad Michael Bay directs that movie.
Oh.
It's like they're having a conversation. And I guess it goes hand in hand with sometimes how the directing in this show sometimes could be, or writing could focus more. But like they're having a conversation about the plot. It's fine. So just a generic action movie. It's fine. Tell me what the plot is. And he decides he wants to go in a circle. And he wants to go up and down and all around as they're talking. It's like, just focus on the dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
they're so afraid of making dialogue matter. And it's just weird.
Yeah, it's just weird. I'm trying to think if there's anything else besides if there's a shorter episode, but we can if there's anything else that's going on in the world of Star Wars, though, and I'm looking at Star Wars Newsnet. Yeah, but everyone's kind of talking about, even when you go to Star Wars Newsnet, how it relates and homage to
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Yeah.
So there's new Obi-Wan character posters. It's funny, they show these new character posters, and it literally is like the thumbnail for the Disney Plus series.
Okay, wait. Let's go through the episodes.
Sure.
Have they paid an homage to episode 1, 2, 3, and 4?
I mean, I think so. I mean, if you look at this, I mean, even episode 5 or last night's episode where you haven't seen that speeder since episode 5, right? When they come in to attack, those are the same ones that take down the AT-ATs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I'm saying, like, is it going in order of like paying homage?
Oh, is it? Well, what's the episode? Well, not necessarily, right? Because the first episode, you see things that happen in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, I think it's just I think what they've done very well is
sprinkling it in.
It's what they've done. You got to remember, and I brought this up many times, that Star Wars Celebration 2015, when Force Awakens was coming out. Remember, the movie opens up with "This will begin to make things right," because the prequels were still in a place for a lot of people that they were looked upon as, oh, let's not talk about it. You went to Star Wars Celebration this year. There was many, many references to prequels everywhere you went.
Everywhere. Lost their minds.
Nothing at Star Wars Celebration 2015. It was buried, and I remember turning to Ken as we were walking and Ellis going, there's no prequel stuff here. Like, you can't find prequel stuff. Like, they were not talking about it. There was no prequel stuff.
Crazy.
And they weren't paying attention to it. And now they have totally reversed that.
Yeah.
By the mere bringing back of Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christiansen. But this now they're paying homage to it and everything. Like, and I think it's worked and it's flipped. And I mean, and Ewan McGregor said as much in his interviews how much like it
mattered.
The audience is talking about it now. It's like they went from disliking it to liking it, and you see it like even with like I remember from someone who saw Phantom Menace in the theater like 5 or 6 times, to then going the Jar Jar stuff and all this stuff. I don't know if it's very kiddish, and then falling back in love with it with watching my daughter, and it kind of almost like internally cheering when I saw him put that thing in his mouth. I'm like, it's like when he was going around in that booth. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. We also didn't talk about how they announced the last day of Celebration that they were going to London.
Oh yes, that's true. And I think we
like just missed the announcement. Like we had filmed right before they announced it, and then I didn't see you.
Well, Mike and I. When the hell did we? When did Mike and I do a video together afterwards? I don't know. Last week, yeah. Weren't you on the show? I think we talked about it briefly last week. I think briefly because Mike and I talked about how dopey we were, and we said when we were like, "Oh yeah, why are they going to put it in London?" And all London fans like, "He's stupid."
Yeah,
we want. But yeah, they're going back to London. I mean, look, if we have an opportunity to be able to get there, I'd love to.
Oh my God,
I would love to.
This is my favorite city in the world.
And it was the first time you went, right?
Yeah.
See, I've never been.
I feel like it was Star Wars is telling me I need to go back to London.
Go back. Well, the difference this year, and I think that's where what I was trying to say last time that came out poorly was that the Star Wars Celebration, from everything that I heard for people who attended, whether you were media or a fan, the experience and the event itself, phenomenal. The information that you got out of Celebration was terrible, and it was Rogue One was in the midst of being, it was a mess. They didn't know. They didn't have anything. They had a trailer that they showed just for the audience of half the footage that wasn't even in the damn movie. It was all the stuff that they shot that people got to see. Thrawn was announced for being in Rebels. That was the big announcement. really nothing else that came out of that at all. The TV wasn't a thing yet, so they had nothing that they were.
Yeah.
So it was
it was that.
That's what always sticks in my mind about London was not London's fault. It was Lucasfilm deciding. It was them getting used to what Celebration used to be before 2015. Before 2012 really, but before 2015 was okay. It's just a celebration for the fans, and we hope that they love it, right? But after you start announcing movies and everything else too, and it becomes like a second Comic-Con, and media starts covering it, you have more pressure on yourself as Lucasfilm to start delivering things that people are going to talk about in the media. Mm-hmm. And in 2015, it was like all sunshine and rainbows. They had the Rogue One teaser on there. They had the Force Awakens trailer. They had Rebel stuff. They had all this stuff. And it was like, oh, boom. And the next year they were like, well, we can just show this and this. And then when they didn't, people were like, this was terrible. And they were like, oh, man. And then and in Orlando they showed up. Chicago they showed up. This year they showed up. And I think next year London's going to get a phenomenal celebration because you're going to have so many things next year.
Yeah. And I think they're going to do some movie thing there.
If they stick to this plan of they're still saying that they want Taika's movie to come out at the end of next year, which is wild. Like the script's got to be done. They got to figure. I mean, they got to know that what the hell the movie is already. We'll probably learn more about it. But if they are actually sticking with that, you would assume there'd be a trailer.
Yeah. You're
gonna get Ahsoka stuff. Now, if it's April of next year, Andor season 2 might start having some conversations. Mm-hmm. Mandalorian will probably be in the midst or just finished the season. But you'll get Ahsoka, you got Acolyte stuff, you'll probably get some more news on Skeleton Crew. So London's going to have a good London will have a good one next year for sure. So I would, like I said, I've never been. I would love to go.
Putting it out there, universe.
We'll see. This is something that came in from Grant Davis over at Star Wars Newsnet. And what did he say? Obi-Wan Kenobi writer explains the decision to have Kenobi learn of Anakin's survival 10 years after their duel. And this is what he said. Harold noted that the decision to have Obi-Wan believe that he'd killed Anakin on Mustafar only to learn the truth years after the fact came from a place of finding the story as it was being told. Harold also noted that he made sure to consult with Lucasfilm's story team and specifically Pablo Hidalgo, who is credited as special lore advisor for the series for various storytelling decisions. Obi-Wan learning about Anakin was not actually something I pitched originally. That was something I learned along the way and sort of had to confirm with Hidalgo and really think, hold on, what does he actually know? Does he know the moniker Vader? Well, we know that he knows the moniker Vader because of the prequels. What does that mean? Can he associate the two? What was he cognizant of? How isolated is he? Where's Vader at that time? Where's his reputation and how well known is he? All those pieces of the puzzle. Now, the canon of when Obi-Wan learned the truth was not established in canon until this series, and while there are concerns of retcons, the series is more consistent with existing canon than some give it credit for. Those familiar with Revenge of the Sith know that Obi-Wan knew of Anakin's Darth Vader moniker as he heard Darth Sidious address him by the title, exactly, when looking through the security footage of the Jedi Temple. But contrary to popular belief, Darth Vader was not an omnipresent figure in the day-to-day operations of the galaxy far, far away until he took a more active and public role in fighting the Alliance after the destruction of the first Death Star. During that time, Obi-Wan is set. Vader instead operated as a figure in the shadows unless called upon by the Galactic Empire. Combine that with the fact that Tatooine was far removed from the goings-on of the Empire, being an outer rim planet left under the jurisdiction of the Hutt cartels, it's pretty understandable as to why Obi-Wan wouldn't figure out the truth until he reconnected with the Force and encountered adherents of the dark side. Oh, I agree with all that.
Yeah.
The only real inconsistency is how Obi-Wan hears Padme's dying words that she believes that there is still good in her husband. Even still, given that he lived with the guilt of assuming that Anakin died on Mustafar for a decade of his life, it's likely that he didn't believe that his apprentice could have possibly survived, and he may have dismissed those words. Well, my particular thing in that is, that's why I want to see him still think, maybe I can try to convince this bastard to come back. But I just think with 2 episodes is probably not going to happen. Canon's musings aside, Harold noted that part of the reasoning to have Obi-Wan learn the truth on screen was to give Ewan a dramatic scene to work with that would really put what the characters believed up until that point into question. Not only was Vader much alive, but Obi-Wan's actions made him more dangerous and determined despite his grievous injuries and his guilt over not putting his apprentice out of his misery, has taken the place of the guilt over thinking he had killed him. He says, the great piece of storytelling is that you can use Ewan playing the moment of realization which still haunts him is still alive. It all comes down to, is it viable with the canon to play that card, which it was, which is great because it allows you at the end of episode 2 and the beginning of 3, it gets you so much to feel the essential, the fundamental story, which is Obi-Wan Vader. Is it? Which haunts you facing the past, everything that comes into fruition and beyond. Let's see. He does say one more thing here. In regards to canon and the things you can do and the things you can't do, very quickly you find out what's on the table and what isn't. You sort of have a big idea and you say, hey, can I do this? And someone says no, and you go, okay. Or they say, yeah, you're allowed to do that, and we canoodle it to see if it bears fruit. Pablo Hidalgo is this sort of mad genius, and he was incredibly helpful and always available. And I'll forever be forever grateful for his help because you can hunt any idea, and if he can say, yeah, if you want, you're okay there, which is great. But, you know, like I said, it's just, I also don't want to do that thing where I'm like, because I can eat my own words after we finish the season finale, and I say to you, well, I was wrong. They clearly went all in on the Vader and Obi-Wan stuff in the last 2, and it delivered 2 hours worth of just pure joy. So
I really hope it does.
I hope so.
I really hope it does.
I hope so. It doesn't, with the way they've been going so far, I don't see it going that way, but who knows? Could be wrong. See if there's anything else that we really need to cover. That's all Obi-Wan stuff right now.
Yeah.
That we've pretty much kind of dove into.
Yeah, and I feel like Padme and Obi-Wan were friends, so they could have easily had that conversation anytime.
Well, no, like, he's saying when she died. That's when
she says it. She vocalizes.
She says it on the deathbed. She said,
yeah.
She looks at him and she says, "There's still good in him."
Yeah.
And so at he, you know, at that point, I always took it, he's like, not going to tell her, but he did. That's the way he feels. Like.
Yeah.
Just like, okay. And then what I always, like, when they brought it back, they do show it in the, did you go back? Because at Star Wars Celebration, they didn't show, which I don't understand why, but when they did the screening for Obi-Wan, they didn't show the whole previously on thing. Did you go back and watch it? Like, they show that part when she says,
I thought people were saying that she didn't say it to him, and I was like, she did, and then she said it another.
Yeah. I think that the fact that why would he think that he's still good if he thinks he's dead? But like, that's why I'm saying, like, I think I was talking to Jamie Costa about this, and he was like, well, don't you think that now, why would that come into play? Because Vader just threw him in the fire and watched him burn. Like, why in the world would he think there's any good in him? Hard to argue with that, but there is still something that you could think, like, that he's haunted enough that he says, I gotta go figure it out. That's why I don't have faith in the fact that that's going to happen, because I feel if it was, he would be at least saying something along those lines or thinking, because he's in the back of the tank, he's thinking about it. But he just asked one question about Vader, but there's none of this thing. Like, he's not, like, I was hoping to have that him having a conversation with, trying to reconnect to Qui-Gon again, saying, can I get through to him? Can I, should I go seek him out or whatever too? And instead they do a rescue mission, but I hope there's no more rescue missions.
Yeah, me too.
Just get her back to Alderaan.
Yeah.
It's like, Bail, I got her. I gotta take care of something now.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out if I can get this guy back. Where's the train? We got 2 episodes left. Like, it's like, I feel it's going to be. Did you watch Moon Knight? You did watch Moon Knight, right? I feel like it's going to be similar to Moon Knight. Like, Moon Knight, there was so much set up in 5, and then 6, it was just rushed through, and it just.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where you could get yourself into that position in this show.
Yeah, I was worried about that with Moon Knight the whole time, because it was a really slow start.
And it's short. And so when you have 6 episodes, and then I'm more nervous now because of the 30-minute episodes, especially when I'm watching. You watch any Stranger Things?
I'm catching up.
How many seasons are you in?
I'm on season 3.
Okay. So in season 4, the episodes are like an hour and 15 minutes each.
Damn.
But they're not but they don't feel long. They just feel,
Stranger Things rocks.
Yeah, they just feel detailed. They feel detailed.
See,
and
I love that.
Exactly what you were talking about before. Like, it just feels layered with character and layered with emotion. And I hope there's 2 episodes left on Obi-Wan. So I'm hoping that they do it. If not, like I said, I am This is why I like, and I still, people say, do you still like Star Wars TV better than movies? 100%. Because I get to watch these shows and enjoy the stuff that I like, not enjoy the stuff that I don't like. And then I have a new show that I get to watch in August. Mm-hmm. And then I have a new show I get to watch in February. Yeah. And then I have a new show I get to watch. And I just get to tune in and watch this stuff, and as opposed to just being frustrated with the movie. But I did say one of the things I loved about TV so much was how much what The Mandalorian did, you can layer in the lore and everything too. I hope they start to play a little bit more in that in the next 2 episodes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Definitely. I want to see just more Obi-Wan Vader.
We'll see.
Talk conversations.
Yeah, but that's it. That's our episode here today. It was a shorter one, but nonetheless, it was our spoiler.
Well, Chicken Man wasn't here.
Nah, he wasn't. He
throw
knows
in
true. His interruptions.
Box, yeah.
Yeah, his interruptions. Here, I'll be him. Go ahead, Steph. Tell me what was your favorite part of the episode today?
Oh my gosh, when Leia went to grab Obi-Wan.
Let me ask you this. So Leia, if she's going to be there for this particular thing, I don't know what she does. Why is she there in the first place? Why is she there in the first place?
Well, she's there because she got kidnapped.
If she's there, then if she's kidnapped, then yeah, you can be kidnapped.
We love you, Mike.
It's funny. He's not watching the show when he's not on it.
He might.
No. Hilarious. Sorry. So make sure, once again, guys, if you haven't been checking out the podcast, it's another way you can help out the show. All of these episodes are on the Big Thing podcast feed. Link is in the description. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. So make sure you do that. Don't forget about the Sith Council t-shirt. That's on the store as well. Get yourself one of those. For the wonderful Steph Sabraw, I'm me, you're you. Did you know that? Well, you do now. All right. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.